I'm Beth Metcalf. I'm the Client Services Coordinator for Parkinson Alberta in Medicine Hat. I'm here today with a special guest. Today's guest is Linda Hilmoe. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad that you accepted the invitation to come today. I think what you're going to be sharing will be very informative, supportive, and perhaps give some people some hope and some encouragement to understand that they're not having to walk the journey having Parkinson's alone. So getting into our session today, Linda, how long have you had Parkinson's disease?
I was diagnosed in 2008, and I had it about 5 years before that.
So the 5 years prior to 2008, was there something going on that sort of said, hey, I need to get myself checked out?
Yes.
What was happening?
Yeah, the fatigue, my left hand started shaking. I was starting to stumble, and I didn't know why. I was still working full time, and I was finding it really, really hard to get through the day. And other than that, my doctor kept telling me, well, you have arthritis, which I knew I had anyway. And he told me I was getting old.
Oh.
That was.
How did you take that?
Okay.
Did you feel like you were getting old?
Yeah. Yes, I did. Yeah.
So you mentioned like you were getting fatigued. So were you sleeping a lot, or were you nodding off, or?
No, not really. I was just tired, and working an 8-hour day, and then coming home. And I live on an acreage. There was work to do in my yard and keeping up the house and so forth. And I just found it by the end of the day, I was just exhausted.
I see.
So what happened when I was diagnosed, actually, was I had to go to Calgary for a surgery. And while I was there, a young intern looked after me. He was assigned to my needs. And he noticed there was something not quite right. And he asked me if he could bring one of his neurology student friends in to see me. And so this young fella came in to see me, and he said he could not diagnose me because he was not my doctor. However, I should have my doctor check me for Parkinson's, because he said I had all the symptoms. So I came home from Calgary and made an appointment with my doctor, and he referred me to a neurologist.
So how did they diagnose you with Parkinson's? Did you have to have some sort of a test? Was it an assessment? Like, can you explain the diagnosis part?
The way my doctor in Calgary, once it was almost a year before I got in to see her, but basically all she had to do was look at me and she knew.
So there was outside signs, visual
knew,
things
yeah.
people could see.
Yeah.
Okay.
For example, and I'll just show you, she told me to move my hands like this.
Okay.
My right hand works not too bad. My left hand I struggle with. The same with my feet. You tap your feet. My right foot works just fine. My left foot I struggle with.
Okay.
And after she examined me, I had a MRI and the other medical tests that they offer. She said to me, I have good news and I have bad news. And the bad news is you have Parkinson's, but the good news is I can help you. She put me on medication, and after the medication kicked in, I felt great.
So you weren't as fatigued anymore?
No, I felt good.
And you continued working?
I continued working till 2 weeks ago.
So you're newly retired?
I'm newly retired.
So what's retirement like?
Well, right now I'm volunteering on the tulip campaign, which is keeping me busy. But I just had some time at home to think about what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. it was a bit of a shock not getting up in the morning to go to work. And I was, every day I would go to work and be creative because I worked in a flower shop. And I'm not being creative right now.
Well, maybe
So-
hopefully by helping Parkinson Alberta with their Alberta Grows Tulip campaign, the creativity will start to rejuvenate itself again because we're in spring, right? And I know
It's-
that you love plants and flowers.
I do,
Yes.
I do.
So going back to your the day that you were told that you had Parkinson's by your doctor, I'm assuming that was a neurologist
Yes.
you're referring to,
Yeah, in
and they put
Calgary.
you on medication.
Yes.
What was your initial reaction when you heard that you had Parkinson's disease?
I wasn't really shocked because these two young doctors and these two young residents were very, very forthcoming. They explained an awful lot of things to me that this young fella, anyway, the neurologist, he explained what Parkinson's was about, how it affected you, what I could do to live with it, and I remember leaving the hospital because it was at the foothills. Leaving the hospital, my husband had gone to get the car, and I got into the car and I broke down and started to cry. And he took my hand and he said, "It's not the end of the world. It's Parkinson's. It could have been a whole lot worse." And he said, "We have to learn to live with it, not let us take over and control our lives." And basically that's what we've been doing.
So what do you do to maintain a happy life living with Parkinson's? Because there is no cure.
No, I realize
There's
that.
no magic miracle potion that you're going to take that's going to wipe everything away.
No.
How do you handle it day to day?
Well, every day is different. They're not always the same. I can get up some mornings and I really feel depressed, or I feel really sad, or I feel sometimes sick. If I've messed up my medication, which I do occasionally, then I know that I have to get back on my meds. But for the most part, I do what I have to do, get that done, and try to get through the rest of the day.
So besides taking medication, and in addition to volunteering for Parkinson Alberta, what are some of the extracurricular activities that you're involved in to kind of keep your body in sync and, you know, strong? And
I walk, I swim, or I don't really swim that well anymore because I don't have the coordination. But I like to go to the pool and either just walk in the water is very relaxing. And my husband and I go to the gym together. And
it sounds like from what you've just been sharing, your husband has been very supportive of
very
you
much so, very much so.
and puts you in front of Parkinson's sort of in the back seat taking a ride with you.
Yes, he, for example, if we go to the Costco or if we go to the mall or something like that, and when I first get up, if I'm been in the car for a while, and I first get up, I have trouble walking. So he takes my arm and makes sure that we get to a shopping cart so that I can hold on to a shopping cart, or you know, he makes sure that I don't stumble. I've never, you know, a lot of Parkinson's people have falls, and I have yet never had a fall. So
You're very lucky and very fortunate.
Yes, I am. I know that because I've known people who have broken hips and shoulders, and have really had to suffer over and above having the disease itself.
So when the diagnosis came down from Calgary from your neurologist, your husband was there. When you came home, you had probably had to think about how you're going to bring it up with your family.
Well, I think they probably already had a pretty good idea, because they live in Calgary and Edmonton, and came to see me in Calgary.
Okay.
So, and I know that it was almost like a year from the time I was in the hospital till I was actually went to my neurologist. So I told them right away what was happening, and my daughter cried. My other one said, "It's okay, Mom. You're strong. You'll get through this." And my son, like typical man, just ignored.
So you were diagnosed in 2008 and you were working full time.
Yes.
Did you tell your employer at the time that you had Parkinson's disease?
No, I didn't.
Was there some reasons why you chose not to share that?
I didn't want to be treated differently. Everybody, we were all virtually the same age. All of us had medical issues of one kind or another.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't bring mine up until the last year that I worked. That shop closed, and so then I let the rest of the girls know that what I was suffering from.
Mm-hmm.
And their reaction was, "Oh, I didn't know you couldn't tell. I didn't know you had Parkinson's. I didn't know that there was anything different." So
they treated you just as an equal with,
yep,
there was no labeling, yep, no stigma attached to it at all.
Because I could do the same things as they did. I could lift heavy buckets. I could lift the flower arrangements. I waited on customers, answered the phone, did the same things as they did.
Mm-hmm. And it probably made you feel really good that you were still able to do those things. Well,
yes, but that was 7 years ago. And then I went to work again in another flower shop, and I worked full time most of the time, and then just this last year that I went on part time. And
so you were slowly transitioning, getting ready for that retirement day. Linda, have you ever considered some of the surgical treatments that are available, like the deep brain stimulation?
No.
Nope. Was that ever brought up in conversation by your neurologist to you?
No, she doesn't feel I'm that bad yet. It isn't, because the medication is still working.
Okay.
And I'm due to have medication within the next little while, and you can tell if you see my hands that I'm starting to shake.
You're getting on to that off period where the medications aren't controlling the symptoms.
It's starting to, it's time for another dose of medication. But no, I haven't really considered it. They haven't mentioned it.
So I know that you're connected with Parkinson Alberta. Can you tell me how Parkinson Alberta has provided support to you and your husband?
Well, I've learned a lot through going to the meetings, the support group meetings, realizing that I'm not the only one in this journey, that other people are suffering for this in the same, maybe not in the same way as I am. Maybe they're in a little bit worse shape, or maybe they're not as bad. But it's always nice to know that there's somebody there supporting you. And on my experience has been on a local level with my peers, the people that I've met through the meetings.
Right, right.
So
And you've had opportunity to share with one another too.
we have, yeah,
And do you think that that's one of the helpful
yes,
things about attending a support group?
yes.
When you first
Absolutely.
started attending support group, were you a little uncomfortable, or were you quite happy attending? And
I think I was probably wanting to learn, wanting to meet people in the same situation that I was in. And it's really funny, when I tell people that I have Parkinson's, people will say, "Oh, my uncle has it," or "I know somebody with Parkinson's." And I know that in my particular case, I just wanted to meet people with that I could relate to. People who, if I was having a bad day or I needed to talk to somebody, I could. And if they were having a bad day, they could talk to me.
mm-hmm.
And
Talking is really therapeutic.
it is. It is.
So what do you do for yourself to when you find maybe you're in a stressful situation? Because with Parkinson's, you know, when you become stressed, your symptoms heighten.
They do.
What are some coping mechanisms or strategies that you apply to yourself to try and reduce that stress and return to that mindful, calm state?
Try to get out of the stressful situation. I find if we go to a restaurant and it's very, very noisy, I can't wait to get out of there. If you're trying to talk to somebody and there's a lot of noise going on in the background, and I think that's not just with Parkinson's, I think that's with a lot of people. I find restaurants now they have to play their music so loud over and top of everybody, so people have to talk a little louder, so that virtually it gets really, really noisy. And
Do you at all feel embarrassed when you tell people you have Parkinson's disease?
no, not anymore.
But you did at one time?
I did when I first was diagnosed. But I've learned a lot about it. I've lived with it, and I watched my best friend die of cancer, and she suffered a whole lot more than I am suffering. So, I don't know, I guess I just try to get through each day with a positive attitude.
I think you're an amazing woman.
Oh, thank
I
you.
think you have a lot of insight and knowledge that you can share with other people that may be thinking they have Parkinson's and they haven't really officially been diagnosed having the disease. And I think you can also be a support to people that have Parkinson's disease that are newly diagnosed. And even, you know, today I know you were at the women's support group and you were listening to a speaker on memory, correct?
Right.
Do you find that, you know, your memory's starting to kind of
Oh,
fade in and out?
yes.
Do you think
Yeah.
Parkinson might be contributing to that? Or maybe, like your doctor said, you're getting old? Like,
Yeah, I'm definitely getting old. My husband has more memory loss than I do. And I think a lot of it is just he's got so many other things on his mind, where I have learned to concentrate on one thing at a time.
and that's one of the key
Yes.
strategies
Yeah.
that people with Parkinson's are, you know, informed about, that you have to think about what it is that you're
Yeah.
doing and you have to do a task singly. So, you know, typically when someone's looking at a cup, you automatically reach for the cup, pick it up, and have a swallow of coffee or water. But with Parkinson's, you have to, first of all, okay, I need to move my arm and my hand, then I need to. Do you find that you talk to yourself, like
Yep.
silently doing those types of
Yeah.
tasks?
If I'm sitting in a chair and I go to get up, my mind or my brain says, says, take a step, but my feet feel like there's glued to the floor, so I have to stand for a second to connect. And I find little things, annoying things, like trying to put on a pair of earrings.
Oh,
Fine motor skills,
right.
um, like getting my bra done up in the morning. I have help with that, though.
So you've had to learn how to adapt some things
Yeah,
in order
Yeah.
to live happily.
and in a lot of cases, or in most cases, because there's just my husband and I, he helps me with everything I need.
That's fantastic.
We have this kind of little bit of a joke. It's like back when, because we've been married for over 50 years, and he keeps teasing me about the days when he used to help me take it off, and now he has to help me put it on. So, time.
So I think humor is a real good help too
Oh, yeah,
when you're dealing
yeah.
with a chronic neurological condition.
Well, my husband has a great sense of humor, and he asked to. He makes jokes about a lot of things that, when I'm having a really bad time to do something, and I'm muttering under my breath or something, he'll make a smart remark. And yeah, he's.
So Linda, if somebody is watching you today and they think that they might have Parkinson's, what would be some words of wisdom, words of encouragement that you might like to share with them?
Talk to your doctor. Don't self-diagnose to the extent where you think that you know what's wrong with you. Make sure you have a medical opinion. And my doctor has been my general practitioner has been awesome. He when I go to see him, he always makes sure that he asks me how I'm feeling, and and he keeps telling me that I'm progressing quite slowly. And so.
Well, I've known you since 2010 is when I became acquainted, and I just recently said to you, I haven't noticed too much progression with your Parkinson's disease, which is amazing. I thought you were quite a bit younger than what your actual age. You stunned me when you told me how your age is, but I really want to first thank you for coming on the program today, because I think what you've had to say today and your story that you shared will hopefully help one person, and that's all that we're here to do, is just try and help even one person. So I want to thank you for coming, and I look forward to maybe having you back again at another time.
Okay. Well,
I'd like to thank you for joining us today. My name is Beth Metcalf. I'm the Client Services Coordinator at Parkinson Alberta in Medicine Hat. Our office is at 101 928 Allowance Avenue Southeast, and our phone number is 403-526-5521. And please check out our website at www.parkinsonalberta.ca. If you think you might have Parkinson's disease, or you're wanting to learn more about the disease, please give me a call. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help and support you to live happier and brighter having Parkinson's disease. Thank you.